All right, today I wanted to kind of take a look at this little section over here, which is the display driver. So there's 4 LEDs. This LED is either a 4 or a 5, and then these LEDs go from 0 to 9. And so you put 0 to 9 binary on these things and they count, right? So let's hack into one of these digits and see if we can't get it to count. So normally it's being driven by this PLL chip, but I'm going to see if I can hack into it. Just to see if I can control it with an Arduino or something later. I just have my little circuit here that's counting. This is just a binary counter. It's a GAL 22V10 counter, and it's just counting, as you can see here, counting in binary. And I've patched it into one of the digits, so let's go take a look at that. Okay, sorry, taking this with my iPhone. I think it'll be all right. You can see it counting from 0 to 9. And then when it gets to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, those are ill-defined things. So it's giving you weird patterns. Of course, if you're writing software, you wouldn't use those digits. So anyway, it does prove that we can hack into this thing and talk to these digits directly. And yeah, so 5 volts, and the microprocessor should be able to control the front panel. So we can bypass that part of the phase lock loop. And so the user interface, I think, will be easy to do. The rotary encoder on the front is a little bit funny. So here's the rotary knob. It goes to this wheel, and the wheel has slots cut into it. It's just a piece of plastic, and you can just see 2 LEDs here, a LED here, and an LED here. Let me get something better to point with. So we have an LED here and an LED here, and the brightness of the LED is controlled by one of these potentiometers, and then the amount of light captured by phototransistors are controlled by the other one. I forget which is which, but that's what those 2 adjustments are. Then it goes into a funky little circuit that does counting, and whether it's going in the up direction or down direction, and feeds that into the phase lock loop. So we should be able to use that. Send that to the microprocessor. So anyway, even though this is fun, I wanted to talk about learning electronics. So people have asked me, how do you learn electronics? And I've pointed them to some books and stuff. But one of the things I tell them is repair things. And in particular, I say repair radios. It depends on what you want to accomplish. If you just want to learn digital electronics, maybe that's a different path. You can repair computers and stuff. But if you think about, let me see if I can clear this thing off so we can take a look at the schematic. So if we just take a look at this one radio, here is some TTL logic, right? So you can learn all about, OR gates and AND gates, and here's a flip-flop in there, and I think these might be, shows the state of whether you're counting up or counting down. Here's some optoelectronics, here's some LEDs, here's some phototransistors, so that's a cool circuit. We go over here, and we have a JFET transistor, and we have a dual gate transistor here, and this is a voltage controlled oscillator, so that's very interesting. Here we have individual transistors of various types, like here's a P channel, and here's or is that another N channel? Yeah, it's another N channel, another regular. So we have digital circuitry. We have discrete analog circuitry. We have analog circuitry in ICs. We have, let's see, where is it? Here's the speaker. So here is a audio amplifier. So we're in audio frequency right here, right? We're at 455 kilohertz in here, right? We're at 10 megahertz in here. We're at 144 megahertz here. So we cover the entire spectrum of different frequencies. And different frequencies require different equipment, different troubleshooting methods. You might want to use a spectrum analyzer. You might want to use an oscilloscope. You might want to use a voltmeter. There's circuits that do It's crystal-controlled circuits, right? Crystal oscillator. There's like here. There's resonant cavities, more device physics type things, right? Here's a microphone preamp circuit, right? And so you can learn so much from radios. Now, not just all radios. Like if you get a shortwave receiver, no, you're not going to learn as much, right? But ham radios are just chock full of all kinds of stuff. So even though I don't do a lot of operating on the airwaves, I mean, every once in a while I do like to turn the radio on. I think it's really cool that I can talk to Australia or Germany or someplace like that, and that's super cool. But the amount of learning that you can do in a radio, I love just radios, just repairing them or just figuring out how they work. There's just so much to be learned here. You know, maybe this is a little bit to bite off all in one chew, but you know, these things are cheap, right? I bought this for $60, right? Free shipping. So, you know, you just want to buy a bag full of parts and start wiring things together. You can't get it for $60, right? All this stuff, you know, go to the junk store, you'd spend that much just on all the stuff in here, all these, there's filters, right? So you could pull the filter out. You could pull this 10 megahertz filter out and use that on your nano VNA and try to sweep the S21 parameter, you know, and try that out, right? Or pull out the 455 kilohertz filters, which are, where are they? Here they are. You know, pull those out and try to measure those. Try to figure out input impedances of filters and how you have to deal with that. Look at power supply circuits. Ham radios are often AC powered and DC powered. They have battery circuits. They might have a charging circuit. There's noise in the system. You have to figure out how to filter noise. So here's a choke, right? When's the last time you saw a choke in a computer, right? Here's a choke to get rid of some of the parameters. Let me show you. You get an idea about how to construct things, right? So here's a construction. This one's it needed to be sealed. It needed to have an RF shield around it, right? And in fact, it needed so much RF shielding. If you look, see if I can change the camera exposure here a bit. But if you look here, these are like 0.01 microfarad capacitors. And look, these are all digital connections. These are all 5-volt digital connections to the front panel. But every single line has a capacitor to ground. Every single one of them. Why? Right? That's to keep the RF from getting inside here or the RF outside of here, right? But every single line is bypassed. So you learn things like that, right? Anyway, I just think that radios are just one of the best things ever to tinker with. And it's why you'll see it on my channel a lot. Not because I'm going to go plug the thing in and actually transmit. It's that there's so much stuff in it, so much to be learned. I mean, I've learned so much already just from looking at the little VCO circuit and stuff on this thing, right? So, you know, the more you tear apart, the more you try to fix, the more you try to learn, the better you're going to get, right? So don't just watch YouTube, you know, get out and try things, get your hands dirty and you know, try to figure out how these things work. You're going to learn a lot.